To the next one. Right. I count 6 shots. Listen to the bando. A nigga jury, I'm not like bando. I was from random riches to a figure with tip. I was from smart car to a people so smart look. And that, if a name in my hip look, I'm fishing with these little bitty strip dips. Like roll in a big dip. Go bring it on the big ship. But trail on the big trip. I got drugs and I ain't no tip. She don't wanna have a good day. Smoke one more week and then die another day. I don't wanna go to the night. Damn, I'm gonna let them put it away. Wow, I ain't good. That's what my niggas do.
All right, what's up, what's up, what's up?
How's it going?
It's Judge Lisa here, and I have the attorney Shannon Cook here on the line with me. I am so excited to bring forth this case to you guys today. This shall be an interesting case. So grab your tea if you haven't already. Take a seat, okay? And ironically, if it ain't about the money, right? So that is pretty much what our show is going to be about today. And I just want to let you all know right now that our attorney, Marcus Edward, was unable to make it, so therefore he has already lost his case. I know, right? I know, right? Disappointing to some, but this shall still be exciting. So nonetheless, the case for today is, how do you feel about having a house husband? The man playing the role of a housewife. So, Attorney Shannon Cook, plead your case, please.
In my opinion, it's difference of opinions. It just depends on the situation. But if the question is directed towards me, I'm going to have to flat out say I don't think so. I need a man that's going to meet me halfway and come to the table, you know, with the bacon just like I am. And I'm one of those old school girlfriends. I do that 50-50 split. You know, we both have to come to the table with something, and we both have to complement each other. So if you're just staying at home, to me, you being a house dad, what are you bringing to the table? That would be my question. So no, I don't agree with a house husband in that perspective. Unless something happens to me and you have to stay home to take care of me and the children, that's a different story.
Absolutely. So would you say that if he's taking care of the home and he's doing everything around the house as the woman would do, you still wouldn't be satisfied? Even if you're working and he's doing all of that, you still wouldn't be satisfied with him staying at home. Is that what you're saying, attorney?
Absolutely, because we reversing roles here. You know, we got to go back to the Bible days, and I'm not, you know, going to throw religion on anybody or pound anybody with it, but there's no reversal of the roles here. Women these days are, you know, they're doing a lot of things. We make more money than some men, and we have just as high demands in our careers than men do. But if the role should be what the role is, the woman should be the one home, and the man should be the one taking care of the household. Excuse me, as far as going out to work and bringing home the bacon. We're not going to reverse the roles here. It's just not going to happen.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you. Hi there, Attorney McPherson.
Oh, I can't sit.
Attorney McPherson, are you able to hear me?
Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, can you hear me? Uh-oh. Can you hear me okay?
Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me? Not hearing so well.
I can hear you fine.
Oh, maybe I need to tuck this earphone in for a bit. See what's going on. Hey, how you doing? Good morning.
Hi there. Can you hear? Look, we just got all of the attorneys.
There you go. I told you.
Okay. Good morning, Judge Lisa. How are you doing?
Oh man, go get my speaker for me, cause I can't hear you. Huh?
All right, guys, if you got
Go get my I need my speaker.
Where's that?
I'm
so
gonna go
as you
back.
have to see, we just
All
got.
right, Felicia, you got it going on now.
We went from the attorney losing the case for the men to all of the men showing up to double team this year. So good luck on that, Attorney Cook.
It's okay. I got it.
I know it. Attorney Bobby Terry, are you there? Can you hear us?
Wait, hold on. I'm setting up my equipment. I can't really hear yet.
Take your time, man. Take your time. Attorney Marcus Edwards, can you hear me? Edwards, are you there? I see you, but I don't hear you. All right, guys. So as you all know, this is again Judge Lisa here, and this is our very first episode. So bear with us as we get everything fixed here. Let me see if I can mute someone out. Give me just a second. All right. What about that? Yeah, no feedback.
Yep, sounds good.
Sounds great. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Attorney McPherson, we're so glad to have you on here to defend the men because guess what? They almost lost the case because as we know, if an attorney doesn't show up, I think that's right. Nah. If if an attorney doesn't show up, hopefully he put in a bid for next week or the next month, right, to be able to come back. But in this case, you guys almost lost it. So I'm so excited to have not one but two great attorney men here on the line to plead the cases for the men. So let me ask you this, Attorney McPherson. How do you feel about a husband playing the role of a housewife? Meaning that instead of the husband going to work every day, providing for the family, he sits at home and maybe he takes care of the kids, maybe he cooks, maybe he cleans, maybe he doesn't do any of those things. Maybe he just sit at home and wait for his wife to go to work and take care of everything. How do you feel about that? Is that okay for you?
Well, as for me, that I think that is something that I would say a husband is to take responsibility in taking care of most, if not all, of the household duties, meaning like in and around the yard to be weed, there's electrical problems, stuff like that. I think the husband is supposed to be capable of having that done without having persons from out in the different areas to take care of that, like meaning an electrician or a plumber or a gardener or so forth. And when it comes on to the cooking and so forth, I think that could be shared if both persons work, or if one person does work. I think if the husband is at home, he should take care of that and not wait until the wife is home to do that. You understand? So that's my case.
So, Attorney McPherson,
Yes.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that you've twisted my question here. So let me go back to the question. How do you feel about a husband not working a job, right? Not bringing in any bacon, any money, right? But the wife going to work. How do you feel about that? So are you saying that it's okay as long as he's taking care of the plumbing and all of that stuff, as long as he's taking care of that, it's okay? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that.
Can I jump in here? If you're gonna unmute Mr. Attorney Terry?
I surely am. Go ahead, Miss Attorney Cook. What were you gonna say?
I'm just gonna comment on the young attorney's comment that he made.
Uh-huh.
And if I'm not mistaken, is he saying that it's okay for the man to be home and the woman to be working, even if he's not doing anything? And is he saying that it's okay for the man to be home as long as he take part responsibilities like do the yard work or cook so that she won't have to? Is he saying that that's okay to do?
That's what
I
I'm
believe that's
saying.
what he's saying.
That's what I'm
Absolutely.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely not. I think
Well,
It sounds like Attorney Cook begs to differ, and she's not going to go with that, Attorney McPherson.
okay.
So,
Well, but I strongly believe that a husband should take up a responsibility in the household if he's not working to bring in any income. You understand?
absolutely. Absolutely. So, thank you all so much for that. Let me go ahead and unmute Attorney Bobby Terry over here because it looks like he has some great things to say, and I'm pretty sure that he can provide us some great advice on this. So, Attorney Bobby Terry, how are you doing today? I can't hear you. Let me see if I can. Let's see if we can unmute you. Unmute your mic. Click on the top button up there and click the mute button. It should unmute you. It looks like everybody is muted. Except, yeah. Okay. So while Attorney Terry fixes his microphone, we're going to go back to Attorney Cook. Okay? So Attorney Cook says, no, I don't care if the man has all the skills for around the house. He needs to get his asteroid to work. Is that correct, Attorney Cook?
absolutely. I mean, you got to look at the fact that we as women, we bear a lot of things. We bear children, we work, we cook, we clean, we keep house for our husbands. And I'm not saying that the wife should be at home. If she has the desire to work, that's fine. But I also know from experience that, we not only just work from home, we work outside the home, we take care of the children, we cook, we clean, we keep home, we keep the house in order for our prospective loved ones, our husbands, as well as ourselves. So for the husband to be at home and to do what Attorney McPherson say and work in the yard or cook a little something here and there, I don't believe that's the way it's supposed to be. I don't think so. We're not getting down with that. You got to come to the table with something more than that, or you can't come to the
Oh,
table at all.
all right. Let me back up my statement. Can I do
Yeah,
that,
back your statement up.
Lisa? All right. Let me tell you why I said what if the husband is not able to get a job because he doesn't have a qualification to do whatever job is required of him, and or he has been laid off and can't get another job. Then let me put it as that, right?
Okay.
How is it that he's going to be able to provide help to the family? Is he just going to sit at home and do nothing?
No,
He
no.
input is energy to at least make something happen around the household if he's not working. That's the point I'm trying to get at.
Okay, I understand your point, but this may be a little harsh for you. If he's
Okay.
unable to work and he cannot find him another job and he don't get disability or no other income coming in, then how about we be creative and create him a job to bring in some income? There's ways around it. If we can do it, you guys can do it. There's ways around everything. So create you a job. Let your wife or your significant other help you create you a job to bring in income to take care of the family. I'm not saying that it's not okay if you're not able to work. I'm not saying that I'm going to like come down hard on you, but we're going to create you something to do so you can bring some bacon to the table, because it's not just going to be the woman doing everything. And if that's the case, what I need you for?
Can I get some
Right,
order
right.
in?
I like the point. I like the point you said. What you need it for? Okay. I'm gonna straighten things out here. We're talking about a married couple against a couple that is not that probably is just going together then. All right. With the married couple, if you marry a person, you remember the vows that you have to take, as say in sick and in health and all that kind of stuff. where you attest to I do. That's what I'm trying to clear up here. If it's a husband case and the husband is not able to get a job, you see you can be creative to actually get him a job. But what if that's not possible? At the present time, what he's going to do? He has to sit around and do
Unless you're
whatever he's
talking
there to
about,
do.
let me chime in. Unless you're talking about that he's on his deathbed and he's about to leave Earth and he just downright cannot do anything and he's immobile to do anything, that's a different story. But we're not talking about that. That's not the question. The question was, how do you feel about having a house husband? The man playing the role of a housewife. So she didn't speak of any illnesses or anything like that that's going to deprive him from moving. So I'm answering it on that question. Based on that question alone.
That's what I'm basing on. That's what I'm basing on. I'm not basing on the question on any other question but that question.
No, you
What
went
I'm
there. No,
saying
you're not. Because you
I'm
said,
just giving you
if he cannot work. What if he cannot work? What if he cannot do?
All right, thank you, Attorney Cook and Attorney McPherson. All right, thank you.
All right. Just sticking to the point though. Husband, if he's not working, he should stay at home and do the home duty.
All right,
That's what I'm basing on.
Attorney Marcus Edwards was actually able to make it on, guys. He was a little bit late.
Yeah.
We're going to allow him to plead his case as well. So, Marcus Edwards, attorney, what do you feel about this subject? Were you able to hear the question that we have at hand?
Actually, I was. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
I could hear
Out
you.
of town.
Now you're breaking up. Repeat what you just said.
I was out of town, so the network was kind of sketchy, so I do apologize, guys. I've been a little bit late. But what was the question? I didn't hear the question in its entirety.
Yes, absolutely. The question is, how do you feel about a husband playing the role of a housewife? Basically, how do you feel about the woman going to work every day and the man staying at home doing the quote-unquote womanly things? And I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but hey, here we go.
Actually, it depends on the situation. You know, if the guy is out there trying, the one thing you can't come down on is going to be effort, right? So you can't come down on effort. So as long as the guy's actually out there trying and you guys putting your heads together trying to make something work, then I think she should be, you know, patient with him and give him an opportunity. At the same time, if that venue or that avenue isn't working, then I agree with what was her name? Sorry.
Attorney Cook.
Attorney Cook. I agree with Attorney Cook that you guys can be creative because the situation is not the job. The situation is actually income itself, right? The situation is income itself. So whatever you have to do to create some type of income, like say being creative, hey, if you have to go down to the pawn shop and grab a $20 lawnmower and go hit some streets, you know, it's income.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that. So it sounds like Attorney Edwards says it's okay for the man not to work, right? He's saying it's all right for him not to necessarily have a 9-to-5 job because a job doesn't necessarily mean money, or money doesn't necessarily mean having a job, right? So he's saying that as long as the guy is at least trying, because we have all sorts of issues nowadays. We have people who are convicted felons and unable to find a job, people who don't have an education, unfortunately, for whatever reason, and they don't have a job, or people who are just simply sorry and just want to sit on their beautiful asteroid and not want to work. So we have many different cases, and I believe that Attorney Cook is speaking on behalf of the people who just want to sit on their beautiful asteroid and not work. Right, Attorney Cook? And then we have Attorney McPherson and Attorney Edwards, who, of course, says, well, what if the guy is trying? He's actually trying, but he may have a case where he can't get a job. You know, he can't get a 9-to-5, but at least he's trying. Maybe he's, you know, borrowed the neighbor's lawnmower and now he's cutting grass everywhere. So is it okay that he is, even if he can't bring in $500 or $1,000 a week, maybe he's bringing in $100 a week, you know, to be able to cover some part of the rent, right?
As long as he's hustling.
As long as he's hustling.
But let me
In a
chime
good way now. In a good way, you know what I mean.
Right.
I want to chime in if it's okay. I agree with Attorney Edwards, but Attorney what was
Nick,
his name? McPherson.
Yes.
For some reason, it sounds like he was saying that if the guy just can't do it, period, then what are you going to do? You're supposed to take care of him or whatever the case may be. But what I'm saying is what I said in the beginning. There's issues just like Felicia spoke about that may, put the person in a position where they can't work. So me, and I'm speaking just about me personally, if that happened to me being married to my husband, because my husband works a 9 to 5, so do I, and I want to bring him home. Now, I want to bring him home, but not to sit on his behind, his dairy air, and just be a house husband and just sit there and do nothing. But I want to bring him home to be creative, to build his own empire, his own legacy. So when I said be creative, that's what I mean. And that goes the same whereas if my husband was to be harmed or hurt himself and cannot work again. He's my husband, so I'm not going to just throw him out there or down, degrade him or make him feel bad or take his manhood, so to speak. I'm going to be creative with him to help him bring income into this household to take care of the family. That's what I'm saying.
awesome. Great point. Great point. All right. Now, let me bring on another perspective of this conversation or this debate. What if the guy had a job, and I think we probably will all be able to agree on this one. What if he initially had a job, but something came about that caused him to lose his job? Now, the guy is at home, and he's being the house husband because he doesn't have a job. Is that okay? And how long do you give this guy, or how long should this guy have before he should be kicked to the curb, or before we need to set a deadline, pretty much? How long do you put up with him being able to live there and not contribute to anything? All right, so I want to hear from you first, Attorney Edwards.
Well, my perspective on that is, you guys hear me?
Yes.
As long as he's, like I said before, as long as he's putting forth his best foot forward. But here's the thing: everybody is not the same. So somebody with a little bit of hustle, or somebody with, because as we know right now, even bachelor's and master's degrees, people with bachelor's and master's degrees are sometimes having a hard time finding, employment. And even if they do find employment, it still is going to be, $10, $8 an hour. So it's below their skill level. So that guy has to have drive to take on some different skill sets. So if you don't have any skill sets to go out in the job market to make yourself valuable, maybe you need to read some books, learn some different skill sets. Maybe you need to learn how to build a website. Maybe you need to learn how to build a mobile app, which I taught myself. So I'm actually pretty close to this. So to answer your question, like I said, he has to have some hustle. If the guy doesn't have any hustle at all, he's just sitting around, then basically it's going to be time to move on. You know what I mean? If he's not trying to make it happen and trying to learn some different skill sets, trying to make some telephone calls, trying to make some moves in the house, it's time to move on, period. And that goes for anybody.
Awesome stuff. Great point of view, Attorney Edwards. And we have one person on our jury who is saying, what is this actually teaching our children as far as being a man in this society? What is it teaching our young girls? How do you feel about that, Attorney McPherson?
All right. With this case, I have to say, we're speaking on the young girls, right?
I'm
Or
sorry.
just repeat the question. You're
Yes,
saying.
as far as the men not working and the
Mhm.
woman going to work, right? Which
Right.
is kind of like Attorney Cook said, it's kind of like not really. It's kind of against what the Bible teaches us. So
Teachers, right?
what the jury is saying is, what is this teaching our young girls out there? If they're seeing mama going to work, but they're seeing daddy all day long, pretty much laid up, probably not doing anything. What is it really teaching our daughters, our young girls?
Well, it is. sending them the message that females are supposed to work. But by right, the Bible says a female is not supposed to be the one bringing in whatever income to take care of the household. So it's actually showing them that okay, the guys have switched it around, so they just have to take a stand and start doing the guys' work then. Pretty much that's what it's teaching them. Because if they're not going to do it, the females are going to have to take it up, because the guys are not going to do it. Or it's that the guys are laid back and the females are the one who wants to push it to get it to show that okay, yes, I'm ambitious and I can do something to make a change in the family also. So
So you're saying that it's not really giving off a bad message, even though it's contrary to what the Bible says. It's still not necessarily giving off a bad message because it's teaching the woman or the little girl to, even if a man is not going to go out there and get it, you still got to go out there and get it for yourself. Is that what you're saying, Attorney McPherson?
that's what I'm saying.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you. Attorney Cook, what do you have to say to that? How do you feel about that?
First of all, I'm going to comment on Attorney McPherson's comment. If that's what he's saying, then the bottom line at the end of the day is you don't need him. Because if you're saying that it's okay and you got to go out there and do what you got to do, you don't need him. Because if you're going to do what you got to do, you don't need him to do it. End of story.
That's what the word is saying right now.
Back to Attorney, I'm sorry, I don't remember his name.
McPherson.
Edwards.
As much as you're beating up on you, remember his name.
Back to Attorney Edwards. I totally agree with him 100%, and that's where my point was. You don't throw nobody out on their butt, but when you get to the point where you see this man, your husband, not wanting to even learn a skill set or even create something to try to bring in income and to teach our young women, our little girls, that yeah, daddy had a hard time, he fell on hard times, and I'm going to show you what to do if that time comes for you and you're with someone who fall on hard times. I'm going to teach you that you work with them, but you don't keep them around if they decide they don't want to pick up something to help you out and bring something to the table. It's a 50-50 split here, and at the end of the day, if you can't come to the table, you can't sit at the table either. End of story.
What do you have to say to that, Attorney Edwards?
I agree with her. Like I say, sometimes, it depends on the hustle or the willingness and the drive to want to have something. For some guys, that may not be an issue to be able to just sit around and be lazy, right? That guy needs to go. But if the guy is the guy that it bothers him, it keeps him up at night because it doesn't feel right, because he knows that he's out of order with the Creator, then you work with him and you pray with him, and you guys figure it out together. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Attorney Edwards, Attorney McPherson, Attorney Cook, they all had great points. And I'm sure that all of you can agree. I'd like for you, people who, I'd like for everybody that's on the jury to leave your comments. I appreciate all the comments. We appreciate all the comments that you're leaving for us thus far. It's going to help us with the next episodes that we are having. So I have a verdict that I'd like to share with you all, because as you all know, a judge, they have their own opinion too, right? So as I said before, we all have great points and we all are going to believe different things, but at the end of the day, we have to do what makes us happy. So having a man sit at my house who does not work will not make me happy. However, it may make the next woman happy. And if that's what makes her happy, then at the end of the day, I believe that it is perfectly fine. All right? So do what you have to do to create your own happiness. If going to work as a woman, all right, is okay with you, if going to work as a woman and bringing in the bacon and taking care of the house and taking, the family on trips, and the husband sits at home and he cooks and he cleans and he takes care of the children and he goes to the school and he does all of that. If it works for you and your family, then by all means do it. Don't allow anybody to come in and tell you that, no, this is not right, this is not going to make you happy. Don't allow anybody to tell you what's going to make you happy. So you have heard it from Judge Lisa and Attorney Edwards, Attorney McPherson, and Attorney Cook. Guys, we appreciate you for tuning in. Please tune in to the next episode next Saturday, same time, same day. We will be here at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We look forward to hearing what you have to say about this event. Please share it with the next person. You never know who would be able to use this and be able to take great advice from this. So loveandwartv.com. Thank you so much. I hope you all have an awesome day.
Bye.
All right. See you guys later.
See you later.